Hello there, and welcome back to a new episode of Halfway with Hathaway. George Hathaway here. Season 1, episode 16 of the show. Super excited for this one, and talking a lot of hoops again. You know, that's the time of year we're in. And like I said last episode, March is my favorite time of year. It's the best time of year for all sports. You know, I have some debates that I really wanted to kind of talk about and really just go over. But first and foremost, LeBron James, 40,000 career points. That's why he's the GOAT. He is the greatest to do it. And, you know, for that, LeBron, absolutely amazing. He truly is the greatest basketball player of all time. I think that debate with him and Jordan's over. When you look at it, at the end of the day, you look at LeBron's longevity, you look at what he's done for the game of basketball, he's still putting up better numbers, if not just as good, as he did his rookie year and even in his prime. To be in year 21 and absolutely dominate the game of basketball, it's unreal. I mean, my whole life it's been LeBron James. I mean, I got to see Michael Jordan, I guess, when I was very, very, very little and didn't remember an absolute thing in the world. But I think the one thing that will hurt LeBron is the finals record at the end of the day. But you have to look at all the other numbers. 40,000 points. He's averaging a career triple-double. Like 40,000 points. I think it's like 10,000 rebounds, 11,000 assists, or those numbers are intertwined. Flipped around. But I mean, either way, 40, 11, and 10,000, unreal. We've never seen a basketball player reach this milestone of 40,000 points. It's unheard of. And he's amazing. That's why he's really, truly is the greatest of all time. I was always a LeBron. I was always a Michael Jordan, GOAT sayer. I was always like, MJ's the GOAT. Just look at what he has done. His final 6-0. But other than the 6-0, what else do you have for Michael Jordan, really? You have a Defensive Player of the Year. You have Rookie of the Year. You have the MVPs. And, of course, the final MVPs. But I look at it deeper than just what he's done outside the finals. LeBron went to 8 straight finals. You know what I mean? It's like he's dominated so many eras. He dominated in the 2000s. He dominated in the 2010s. And he dominated in the 2020s. He still is. He won a championship in 2020. So I think that he's one, of course, the greatest of all time, and he's also a Laker great too. He brought them a championship, and of course that's what Laker fans want at the end of the day. And everyone's talking about the statues, right? Kobe had his statue unveiled recently, which was great, well deserved. And then it's like, who's next? What other player is going to get their statue? Of course, D Wade, Allen Iverson's getting one. For the Sixers. When you think about LeBron and kind of going back to the GOAT, where are you putting a statue of him? Of course in Cleveland. 100% you're putting that in Cleveland. Are you putting one in Miami? Are you putting one in LA? I think that, to me, like, those are the three, the 3 teams he's been on, but those are the 3 possibilities. Actually, I think hands down LeBron's having a statue in Cleveland. The kid from Akron, bringing a championship to his home city, coming back from a 3-1 deficit to do it. Yeah, it's unreal. He gets one in Cleveland. I think the big 3, the Heatles in Miami, they deserve one. Chris Bosh, D Wade, LeBron, all 3 of them deserve, I think, one together, like a collective one together that they should get. And then I also look at it as you can put one in LA too. He surpassed Kareem with the most points all time. He had the 40,000 career points there, and then brought a championship as well. You can certainly put one there. But I think for me, it's Cleveland and Miami. His number will be retired, that's for sure. And all 3 of those arenas I think 6. Well, yeah, 6, 23. I don't think he's going to get a double jersey retirement in LA with 6 and 23. Just because, like, to me, it feels better that Kobe has that. Like, that's just one play. You don't see that a player has 2 numbers retired with the team. So I think just taking away 6 and 23 is weird. I think just 23 for LA. Maybe 6. 6 is what he won the championship with. So they can retire 6, but keep 23. It's tough. That's a tough conversation. I think if we see LeBron kind of carry on, like kind of continuing a little bit with LA with the number 23, I would say 23 over 6. But again, it's so weird. Like, this is something we have never seen, right? That somebody who's dominated the game so much is that you're like, like, what is it going to be? But definitely 3 different jersey retirements, possibly 3 different statues. 2 of them, I think 100% will happen. And then another debate was like, is Curry going to get a statue for the San Francisco Warriors, the Golden State Warriors, right? I think Curry deserves it. Clay and Draymond, maybe. Again, if they do win all 3, but I don't think like Draymond and Clay respectively deserve a statue on their own. I think that it will just solely be Curry. But again, you can have the 3 of them together. They're all 3 jerseys are going to be retired, but I think it should solely be Steph Curry getting a statue for the Warriors. But like I said, Clay and Draymond, great players. I think they're the Hall of Famers, but I think they'll only get a jersey retirement in that. And then another debate that I had with some friends, it was just like topic of conversation. Is James Harden a point guard or a shooting guard? Now this is something that it made me think a little bit. Thunder's Harden, yes. He was a shooting guard. I think Rockets, he was a shooting guard. You could say point guard, but he had Chris Paul, who was doing the primary ball handling. And then shooting guard there. He went to Philly and then Brooklyn. Both of those shooting guard. I think Sixers would be more point guard. And then once leaving the Sixers to go to Clippers, again, I think more of a point guard role. He's, I think, later in his career, past his prime, he's turning more into a point guard because he has shooters on his team. But I think in his prime, he was a shooting guard. He's one of those dual threat players. He can dribble the ball well, but he's known for his shooting. And I think he's a shooting guard. And that's what's tough about point guards, I think, nowadays, is that you cannot solely identify somebody as a shooting guard or a point guard. That's why everyone's just a guard. Because if you want to be a dynamic guard in today's basketball world, you have to be able to shoot and you have to be able to dribble. It's not just going to be, boom, you're catching and shooting type motions for your shooting guards nowadays. It's going to be, all right, I need you to bring the ball up. I need you to create space and find that own shot for yourself, be able to pass. And then, I think that for nowadays, basketball is you're either a guard, a forward, and then you're a center. The small forward, power forward position still has those differences in it, where your small forward can be a shooting guard / point guard. It could be a small forward / guard position. It could be an F and G. And you see that often. I think one player who's done a good job of that is Paul George. He's done a good job of being able to be like at shooting guard type and then also that small forward. And then your power forward is just a bigger overall guy. And I think that's what really differentiates the forward position is the size and the strength that a player has. And then the point guard, it's the same. It's tough. It's really tough to differentiate, especially with somebody who's so dynamic like James Harden. But I think he is primarily a shooting guard. That is what I believe James Harden is. And it's been a busy week for the NBA. Celtics, Tatum's not clutch. I don't think he's found that time where he can produce in the crunch time. When he's able to, you can trust Jason Tatum with the ball with less than 2 minutes in the fourth quarter when your team's down 4. Happened on Thursday night against the Nuggets where he missed a wide open 3 to bring that game tied. And that was tough. That was a tough watch. That really was. That's okay, though. I think that Celtics are still front runners, but they're not doing well against Western Conference teams. They have a losing record against Western Conference teams. And to me, that is a little bit of a red flag. If you're a Celtics fan, that's a red flag. Because you look at it, the next time you're going to have to worry about a Western Conference team, if you're the Boston Celtics, that is in the NBA Finals. Can you beat a team like the Denver Nuggets or the LA Clippers in the NBA Finals on the road? You're going to have to come in clutch. Jaylen Brown had like 40-something against the Nuggets too, and it can't just be him. It can't be one of the Jays, one of the Jays going off. It can't be just Jason and then Jaylen Brown struggling, or it can't be Jaylen Brown having a great night and then Tatum struggling. So to me, you're going to have to both be on par. Kristaps Porzingis is a great addition. I think that's what's really going to separate this team from everybody else. But again, you have to come up in these good scenarios if you are the Boston Celtics. And it's tough. It's going to be tough, especially if you have a losing record to the Western Conference. It's hard. But yeah, sticking on the hardwood, UConn. Huge game coming up against the Friars. It's going to be a good one. They're the outright Big East champions for the first time since 1999. That was a pretty good year if you're a Huskies fan, if I do say so myself. That was the first year they won the national championship. And I love to say history repeats itself. This is a team who's had a target on their back all year long. Danny Hurley's a head coach of the year. Hands down coach of the year. He's taken a team that's lost 3 of their starters. Some of their top scorers on the team have left. And then he's been able to produce another championship-winning team. To me, that's head coach of the year worthy. And I think he more than anything deserves that. I think because Danny Hurley is an all-around great coach. He's one of my favorites in the game. And this is what he had to say today about possibly winning Coach of the Year. I don't win a lot of popularity contests. In places I've coached, my fans love me. As long as they love me and these other fan bases hate me, know that I'm doing the job that UConn wants me to do. We're winning, and we're winning in impressive fashion, and there's a lot of hate. I absolutely love Danny Hurley. He's taken, man, the Hurley last name, everybody dislikes, everyone hates Hurley, right? You think about his brother Bobby, what he did with Duke in the 90s. Him and Christian Laettner, one of the two of the most hated people in college basketball right there. And then you have Danny Hurley, the brother, winning national championships. But he's talking smack. He's getting teed up. He's getting ejected from games. He will run his mouth and he will tell you how it is. He will yell at you. He was in the huddle, Phil in the huddle. He's cussing out his guys. He is a player's coach. He is somebody who will develop you. He is somebody who will go to war for you. And how I'd go to war for Danny Hurley. If he was telling me what to do, best believe I'm doing it. I'd run through a brick wall for this guy. I really would. And somebody else who has that same fire, it's Cam Spencer. One of the most disliked players, I'd say, right now. I think besides Kyle Filipowski. And to me, I love Cam. I'm just trying to pull up a quote right now. Yes, so they were chanting in Marquette, F Cam Spencer, of course, fill in the rest on that one. And this is what he had to say against Marquette. He goes, "It fires me up. I prefer it. I love it when they're trying to get under your skin. I think it makes you play better." Yeah. Yep. Another dude I'd run through a wall for, Cam Spencer. Seeing him as a transfer, it always makes you wonder, hey, what if? What if Cam Spencer played all 4 years at UConn? It's just so interesting to kind of think about, to me. Just those what ifs, right? But to me, I'm appreciative for what happened. What if Cam Spencer came? What if he wasn't as good if he went to UConn for all 4 years instead of going to Loyola or Rutgers before and then coming to UConn finally in his last year? Right? I think the cards play out. And to me, seeing somebody like a transfer who's come in for a year or two impact a team so much, and then you have to see them leave on senior day, it hurts so much. I think it hurts more than having your seniors who stayed around for 4 years leaving. Hear me out. I think that's a hot take. I think that is a hot take because there's a guy for 4 years who have done so much for a program and they deserve their flowers just as much as these transfers who are also leaving. But to me, Cam Spencer, Tristan Newton, Joey Calcaterra, just to name a few of these guys who have come to the UConn program, made an impact, and then you see them leave. It's like, oh, this hurts so much more than anything else, in my opinion. Tristan Newton, he played at ECU before in the American Conference when UConn was there, and he dominated against UConn when he came there. And you look at his 2-year impact. He's a leader. The triple-double maestro out here. He's a finalist for, Player of the Year for the Big East, the point guard, the Bob Cousy Award, right? He could possibly win so many awards in his senior year right now. And to me, it's like, oh, he made such an impact on fans, on people, that it sucks to see people like this go. Same thing with Joey Calcaterra. I love Joey, big fan of him, right? Joey California, he made an impact on that national championship team a year ago, right? And then he had to go. It's just so many. I can go on and on, but I truly do believe, though, that seeing these transfers come in for a year or two, make an impact, you grow to love these guys. You grow to willing to just lay it all out there for them, right? And you're defending them, and then they have to go in just 15 short weeks, right? It's tough. It's tough. And Cam Spencer, the NCAA denied him a 6th year, which I think is absolute BS if you ask me, right? I think it is. Cam Spencer, he only played 5 games his freshman year. He got hurt. COVID happened. So he didn't really play a full season. So in theory, he should technically be able to get another year playing, but the NCAA denied it. He's too good, in my opinion. He's too good. I think that's what I tell myself. That's why. Because I don't think anybody could live with Cam Spencer being at UConn for another year and the impact he's going to have if he played for 2 years. It'd be unreal. He could possibly win Player of the Year. But like I said, I'm appreciative for the time that we've had with these players. To Cam, Tristan, Andrew Hurley. Man, these are some great players that are leaving. Fan favorites. People who've made an impact. But that's college basketball. And that's what makes it so special. You have these guys for 1 or 4 years. Nowadays, if you're Armando Bacot at 6'7", if you're Zach Edey, you got your doctorate already, right? Unreal, right? But I'm just kidding. Those guys actually been there for 6 years. But that makes my point even more valid that Cam Spencer should be there 6th year. But is what it is. I'm appreciative. I loved having these guys, loved being able to talk to them. And that's what makes it so hard to see him go, because you build a bond with these players. And and Cam Spencer, who's been my favorite player this whole year. I remember meeting him for the first time. I was like, who is this guy coming in? I was like, I have no idea who he is talking to me. And he was super chill. I love talking to him. And I just love his energy that he brings. Because to me, it's like, he's a blue blood, right? He's a blue blood from UConn. And everybody hates blue bloods. And he's been playing like that villainous role, right? You love to see it. College basketball needs their villain back again, and they have Cam Spencer. And Cam Spencer's one hell of a bucket, and I'm certainly going to miss him. But he's going to win a national championship. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. I would love to see him win one and UConn go back-to-back. But sticking in college sports, Johnny Manziel giving back his Heisman Trophy until Reggie Bush gets his. The last two Heisman winners made $12 million, but Reggie Bush, he accepted. He didn't cheat in steroids or anything on the field that impacted his game. It was more frowned upon that he took offers from like cars, money, endorsement, shoot, whatever it may be. And that's why the NCAA won't give him his Heisman Trophy. But guess what we have nowadays in college sports? NIL, name, image, and likeness. And by the way, Donovan Clingan just signed one of those with Ritz crackers. Pretty funny. But Ritz crackers are pretty good. But no. So you're pretty much telling me, though, that Reggie can't get his Heisman Trophy back. But it's legal now, right? He didn't cheat on the field. He just accepted some things. Maybe made bad mistakes. That's okay. We all do it. But if you're now going to legalize making money in college sports as a student athlete, you best believe Reggie Bush, one of the greatest running backs in college football history, one of the best in NFL history, deserves his Heisman Trophy. And players like Johnny Manziel should step up and be just like him, because Johnny Manziel, he did some things off the field that were questionable as well. But I love to see how big of a role model Johnny Manziel has become in college sports. He's really turned his life around from, this guy that we saw on the field that was always, Johnny Football, right? But I love to see how he's really changing his character around. And I feel like other Heisman Trophy winners should do the same. Because this is one of the most prestigious honors in sports, is the Heisman Trophy. Reggie Bush deserves his. That's all I have to say on the matter. I mean, I know 90% of other people agree. I can say that's for sure. And I'm going to end it on here on this little sad note here. Jason Kelce is officially retired from the National Football League. When he announced that he was going to do a press conference, I said to myself, this time's come. He's retiring. It hurt. Watching that hit home. That certainly hit the heart. His speech was beautiful. Just to kind of see the raw emotion on a big guy, especially in a society where men showing emotions is definitely frowned upon. So I think just to see somebody big, strong like Jason Kelce, just leave it all out there. He is one of the greatest centers of all time. He's a Philly great. And even in all that, he stayed humble. He talked about his other teammates who are better than him. He said his wife, beautiful stories that he would talk about. And then it came down to his brother. That was beautiful. If it wasn't for Jason, there would be no Travis. These are two brothers out here playing football, watching each other succeed and be the best or second best in their position, right? I may not like Travis because I think Gronk's better and, all these other, right, for all of that. But the bond those two have is certainly unreal. I love it. It's so sad. The football world lost a great, when Jason Kelce retired. But he's such an important player he's a great guy all around. Great dad, great husband, great brother, great son. He's perfect all around. So Jason Kelce, congratulations on retirement. Well deserved. Yeah. But if you haven't seen that video, watch it. Bring a box of tissues. It'll have you tearing up. I mean, it was powerful. It was a great speech. But that'll wrap things up here on this week's episode of Halfway with Hathaway. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And make sure to give us that 5-star rating and follow wherever you listen for your podcasts. And I'll see you next week.